In 1988, a package was anonymously delivered to a radio station in Central California. It was postmarked from a town that didn't exist. Inside was a single reel-to-reel audio tape, along with a photograph of a man smiling in a nondescript office. A handwritten note was attached to the photo, its ink faded and brittle. It said, "This is what he sounded like before he started listening." The tape was labeled 1701 to 2. The man in the photograph was identified as Dr. Alistair Finch, a radio astronomer who worked at a remote observatory in the Sierra Nevada mountains. In the winter of 1987, Finch had resigned from his position without explanation, telling colleagues he was taking an indefinite sabbatical. He packed a single bag, walked out of the observatory, and was never seen again. His family insisted he was happy. His research partners claimed he was on the verge of a major breakthrough. No one could understand why he would simply leave. At the time, his disappearance was ruled a personal choice, and the case was quietly closed. But looking back through the observatory's logs from that final winter, small inconsistencies begin to emerge. They were dismissed as clerical errors back then. A telescope log shows it was tracking a star system that wasn't visible in the night sky at that time of year. Maintenance reports mentioned persistent static on communication lines that no one else could hear. Finch's personal calendar, found open on his desk, had several entries for a date that doesn't exist. February 30th. Each entry just had 2 words written next to it. "It's calling." Decades after his disappearance, while digitizing the observatory's archives, a technician found a corrupted audio file on one of Finch's old hard drives. It was a recording of the telescope's signal feed from his last week. When the file was repaired, it wasn't the sound of deep space that came through. It was a voice, a distorted, fragmented voice, speaking in broken phrases, and underneath it, just barely audible, was the sound of Finch's own breathing, as if he were in the room with the person speaking. But the official logs state he was alone during every observation. He was always alone. The most disturbing evidence comes from a series of memos Finch sent to himself in his final days. He describes a growing sense of confusion. He writes about conversations he can't remember having, of waking up in his office with no memory of falling asleep. In one entry, he describes answering a phone call from a number that was just a string of zeros. He claimed the person on the other end sounded exactly like him, but older, and was begging him to destroy his research. In his last memo, he wrote, "I keep hearing a signal from 1701 to 2. But that's impossible. 1701 to 2 isn't a star. It's the number of this room." A final, desperate message was found, scrawled on the back of a star chart left on his desk. It was his last known communication. It reads, "I finally understood the signal. It's not a message. It's an echo. It's what's left of a person after they answer. Don't listen to it. Don't ever listen. This sentence is unfinished." The pen having torn through the paper, he was gone after that night. The only thing missing from the observatory, besides Finch himself, was a single reel of magnetic tape from the recording archives. The package from 1988 still sits in an evidence locker. 4 years, the tape 1701-2, was left unplayed, considered a strange but harmless relic of a cold case. But why would someone send it? And more importantly, who was it meant for? Last week, driven by a new investigator on the case, a technician finally threaded the reel onto a player. Most of the tape was filled with a low, humming static, but right at the end, a voice can be heard. It's faint, distorted, and seems to be whispering a sequence of numbers. The numbers match today's date.